Hey guys, this is Torencresent, and I've decided to make a guide for brand new players to Terraria. Since 1.3 came out, there's a lot of new players and a lot of old players that are coming back to Terraria, but a lot of them I've noticed that I played with really have no clue what to do in the beginning, and it's understandable because unless you watch a video, you're not going to understand. So this is basically a spoiler-free video to help people that are new to the game figure out where to go. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is check your settings, and if you want to make sure your volume's all set in order. You know, you want to change your cursor color to what you wanted. The cursor color is important. A very dominant color in the game is green, blues, and grays. And browns. So you want to take a color, for instance, I take red, that stands out a bit more when you're in the world, and you'll see why in a moment. Most of the other stuff, not so important. Of course, language. If you want to change your language, you should do it. And controls, which you can set up yourself if you want, but I'm going to be going over the basic controls. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a single player, or multiplayer, depending on how you do it, and you'll get a character selection thing. And for brand new players, this will be blank, obviously. But for me, I have multiple characters going here. And I'll click New, and so will you, hopefully. And that's where you'll come and you'll pick your hairstyles. You left click and right click to scroll through the different hairstyles you can start with, and pick a random color. Same thing with everything else. The eye color. None of this is really that important. It's just preference thing, and that's it. I'll be bluish or whatever, and get myself a trench coat. There we go. So I'll create. Now, before you do anything else, you have this option for softcore, mediumcore, and hardcore. Softcore is the basic way of playing. A lot of people play softcore. It's the normal thing. When you die, you drop a little bit of money, not all of your money, and you restart at your spawn, and you don't have to really go back and worry about anything. Medium core, however, you drop all items on death. That includes all armor and everything, but you still keep your max health. You're still in the world. You can go back and retrieve your gear. That's good. Hardcore, however, like it says, hardcore characters die for good. And what happens when you create a hardcore character, let's say you gather up a lot of health and all these items, if you die, you can't continue that world, and you have to leave the world with that character, and that character's gone forever, right? You will lose all items and all health on it. I wouldn't recommend, if you're new at the game, to do hardcore or medium core. Play around with it later on. Just see. Medium core is pretty fun. It's completely different. They're all very different play styles. But for now, we're going to keep it as soft core because that's basically I'd say 90% of people play soft core. So we'll keep it like that. And you're going to click create, name your character. I'm going to go Torin. I've got a million Torins, but whatever. We'll name this Torin to Torin to Torin. Yeah, whatever. And I'll scroll down and find him. There he is. Double click or click the play button. And now you'll come to a world options. And I'm going to do a new world. Small, medium, large. And really there's no difference from small, medium, and large aside from how long it's going to take you to get to places, obviously. And also the amount of loot. Like, if you're playing single player, it's not bad to play in a small world. But if you want more of a long playthrough, you're going to go with a medium or a large world. Medium is pretty standard, obviously. Small is if you just want something quick. You can go from point A to point B really quickly in small world. And the difference between small and a large world is huge. It can take quite a long time to walk across the entire map in a large world. Medium's pretty standard. I personally always play on large worlds. I don't know why, I just enjoy them more. You get more biome diversity, which I'll get into later. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and pick large world and name it the tutorial world. And we'll just name it tutorial. And it's going to go through all of this thing, setting it up, and it's going to show this little bar here, and it's going to be red or purple on one side, and that tells you if you have Crimson or Corruption. But you don't need to worry about that if you're brand new at the game, but it is something to keep in mind. It does tell you what, because you have one type of evil in the world. You have Crimson or you have Corruption. And in this world I have Crimson because it's red. So that's good to know ahead of time if you want a specific type of world to deal with. For this tutorial video, it doesn't matter what type of world I have because I'm basically going to show you the basics. Maybe if I decide to do a second video, we can get into more things and more things and more things as I go, depending on how well received this video is, I suppose. I'm not really going to make any cuts here because it's kind of, well, this is about as long as it takes on my computer. My computer's fairly decent. Not the best, but yeah. Oh, there was one thing. I didn't mean to do that. That's good that I did this. Okay, so if you want to delete a world, the trash can to delete the world's here. I'm doing it because I put it on expert. And the main difference between expert and normal worlds is the fact that it's a lot harder. So for greater difficulty and loot, I forgot to go over this because it's new. It's new in 1.3 and I keep forgetting to. The standard Terraria experience, I would recommend just going with normal. Figure out how the game works, the mechanics of things, you know, get into your own rhythm. And then start a new character eventually on a new world in expert. And be prepared to die when you do that if you're brand new to it. So even I die quite a bit on expert, so we'll go here again and name it tutorial and wait for it to go. Maybe now I will actually skip ahead. I get a crimson world again. Purple if it's corruption, red if it's crimson. Not important for this video, but I might as well mention it. You can see all the things that it's adding in there, you know. I'm not sure if that's actually like what's happening, if at that moment it really is adding more grass, but I mean it must. It's the world generation. You can see there's deserts being thrown in, floating islands, mushroom patches, underworld, you know, big spoilers all throughout the entire hornet's nest, smoothing the world, settling liquids. I think it's fun to see all the things. I wish it would have little funny things in there. Spicing up wall, hiding treasure, growing spider caves. One great thing about Terraria is every world is going to be very different and unique. Your world is yours. No one else will have a world like yours unless you decide to copy paste your world and someone downloads it, but that's another thing entirely. And I think it's really cool, these sandbox games like this. Terraria is a very good example of a proper sandbox world. So we'll load in, and the first thing you're going to notice is you're here. Flat 2D world. This guy is the guide. He's your first NPC. He's always there when you start a new world, and he's always the first guy to come back. Left click to use items that are on your bar that's selected right now. So I use a pickaxe, I use an axe. I want to eat this mushroom. Left click, right? You can press escape to open up your inventory. This is your equipment slots and accessory slots, and social, this is basically just changes the look of what you got, and this is just dyes that change the color of what you got. And if you click this button, it shows your equipment. And various equipment that you get, it will be located here whenever you want to look at it. Housing isn't important yet. One of the first things you're going to want to do though when you start up a new Terraria world is just take a look around, and you'll see I see a chest here. So I'm going to go ahead and hop down and jump up, jump with spacebar. Right click to open the chest and take a look inside. I've got a few potions. I'm just going to loot it all and put it down in a different part of my inventory so it's not in the way. I got some throwing knives, a very basic weapon. And I want to take this chest with me, so I'll select the pickaxe and left click, hold down left click until it's gone. And now I'm in this hole and it's like, okay, where do I go? I could try to jump back up, but I see a cave down here. I'm going to take a quick look. There are pots. You can break these pots just by breaking them with a pickaxe or a sword if you have it. And I can't see anything, so I'm not going to bother going to the right there. The guide's down here with me. One cool thing about the guide is, if you ever want to know what to do, you can go to help. You can use your pickaxe to dig through dirt, and your axe to chop down trees. Just place your cursor over the tile and click. This guy is your tutorial, okay? He's your guide. If you want to survive, you need to create weapons and shelter. Start by chopping down trees and gathering wood. Press escape to use the crafting menu. When you have enough wood, create a workbench, etc., etc. anytime you have a question, anytime you're wondering, just go through his selection and see what you got there. So I'm going to left click on this dirt here and dig my way up. Because I can't get out of the hole any other way right now. I don't have anything on me to help me get out. So I'm going to dig up. And one thing is you can't dig underneath trees. I can't dig away this block. So I'm going to use my axe from underneath here and just go ahead and chop down the tree from underground. It's logic. It's video game logic. Whatever. So I do have myself a bit of wood and there are some slimes coming. So I'm going to take out my sword here. Which you can check the stats by pressing escape and looking at it. I'm going to stab this slime. And he dropped gel and copper. It always tells you what they drop when they drop it. Gel, platinum ore. It's a pretty decent ore to get early on, actually. And I'm going to chop down a couple more trees. You can never have too much wood. Wood is one of the most essential materials you'll get in the game. At least for most of the game, you're going to need wood all the time. And I'm just going to grab myself a few trees here. I don't want to take too much with me because I don't want this video to run too long. I'm basically going to go through the first night and then call it there. So I see shrooms here. Gonna have to grab those. Those are your first source of health, essentially, unless you find some healing potions. Which I might be able to find some because these little caves here are your friends. See, it drops some torches there. And I can drag my torches onto the hotbar. And then go like this and select it, and then I can place it with left click on the walls. These back walls here, you can place it on. And then switch over and grab some more pots. The pots are like your friends in the beginning, just break a lot of them. Or if you don't want to put it on your bar, you can just push shift. And it'll automatically select the first... Oop, I just did sticky keys. Ah, sticky keys. Okay, careful with sticky keys though. That was ridiculous. Oh, that was... Whoops. Okay. I hope that didn't ruin the video. But yeah, so I'm grabbing a few pots, I'm checking in these chests, and I got myself an item here, an umbrella. You will fall slower while holding this. I'll go ahead and put that up in my bar for now, and grab this chest as well. And that's basically what you want to do on the first day. Just take a quick look around, go into these caves. You don't want to go too far down. Like, I'm not going to go down into that because the further down you go, the tougher the enemies get. On the surface, in the beginning, you're pretty safe. You know, you got some slimes during the day to worry about. Nothing really too major. It's the nighttime you want to watch out for. And you want to be prepared for your first night as quickly as possible. So you grab a few items. You make your way to a nice area in the world. You just check yourself out. So I'm standing by these sunflowers, right? Anytime you have a buff, it'll show up over here. For instance, I have happy. Movement speed is increased and monster spawns reduced. Whenever you're near sunflowers, you get that buff. It's a nice little thing to know. Ah, so right here I see some ore. I'm gonna go ahead and try to grab that ore. Just easily use your pickaxe, left click, hold it down until the block disappears. You can see the block that's actually new in 1.3 actually breaking as you go, so you know which block you're hitting. But basically it's just whatever one you're putting your mouse cursor over with the pickaxe in your hand. So I got some tin ore, I'll get back to the tin ore later. I'm also going to grab me up some stone because stone is pretty useful. You use it for a lot of early crafting recipes, including arrows, a furnace, etc. A lot of things you're going to need in the very beginning. There are a lot of different ways to play Terraria. Like for me, for instance, I like to go into the world, find myself ores, upgrade my weapons, etc., fight monsters and stuff. Or you can just go fishing. I'm not going to get into fishing because I don't personally do it very much. I once in a while I do it just to get some materials for potions. But for the most part, it's not really my thing. So I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to basically show the way you would progress if there wasn't fishing in the game. So it is, you can see the sun there. It's starting to get a little late. And I haven't really found too much, but I do have wood and such on me. One thing you're going to need to do is build a house. When you build a house, you build it and NPCs will move into it. And in order to build it, all I need to do is, and I'm getting to a desert. You see the background changed and the watercolor changed. It's because we're in a desert now. But what I'm going to do is actually grab some cacti, because it's actually a very good item to have early on, is a lot of cacti. It crafts into some very useful items that make the starting of the game much easier than if you were to go through and collect ores. But these pits here are very dangerous. When you see a pit like this, you basically want to stay away from it. I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm gonna go ahead and head back this direction. I'm going to check my inventory first, though, actually, and I see that I have a recall potion. Recall teleports me home, or in this case, back to spawn. I'm going to go ahead and do that because then I can make use of a little bit more of my daylight hours and head to the left. I grab myself a bunch of potions, and I see that there's actually snow directly to the left. Now, the thing with the biomes is, when you're in a normal forest biome, you're going to get slimes and, you know, a few other pretty basic enemies. But when you're in desert or snow biomes, you're going to end up getting their variants of different enemies. Ice slimes, desert slimes, vultures, antlions, etc. Wolves, whatever, you know, just various different enemies that you wouldn't see in the forest area. And typically those enemies tend to be stronger. The forest area is the weakest area in the game. When you have no armor and nothing else going for you, you want to try to stick to it as much as possible in the start. But the ice does also have unique loots that you can only get there. Like this slime here, you can actually hover over it to see their HP. It has 30 HP. And he probably does a bit more damage than the little slimes we were fighting earlier. So I'm just going to leave him alone for now. Because this guy, for instance, he has 14 HP. You see the difference there. 3 hits with that guy. And he probably has less defense. These are just these squirrels, you know, you get your creatures around. But before it gets dark, I'm going to go ahead and grab a few trees here. Just to make a little space to build my first house. Now, building a house is fairly simple. A lot of people stick to a very simple thing of creating a box in the beginning, because a box is really quick and easy to make, and it serves the purposes. So what you want to do is you want to lay your blocks down, whatever blocks you're going to be using, to a certain degree, and you can just, what I like to do is I go to the max height that you can build up without jumping or anything, and this is a standard little hut. This counts easily for the size of the houses for NPCs, and that's what's most important. And if you press escape now, as I have materials in my inventory, you'll see I actually have here a little menu, a scroll menu. This is your crafting menu. This is where you learn how to craft everything. So I'm going to go ahead and craft a workbench and place it right in the center here. And if I'm standing next to it, I see that I get extra menu options. So for instance, now I have the ability to build doors and wooden walls, which add a back wall, chairs, tables, fences. I got a fishing pole and some basic armor and weapons, which is pretty nice. In fact, with that cactus I collected earlier, I'm going to make a cactus sword. And it told me I got a pointy cactus sword, so it has 11% extra damage, and I'm going to replace that copper sword because it's terrible, and use the cactus sword. And I'm not going to bother with anything else here except for a furnace. And I'm going to put the furnace down as well. And one more last thing I have. Because the crafting table counts as a table, obviously, crafting bench, table, whatever you want to call it, I need a chair. Because with a chair and a table in a room like this, and back wall and a light source, that counts as a house. And you can always tell right now. So if I click this housing button and I go onto this and I try to grab it, you can grab his face and say, hey, I want you to live here. But you see, it says not a valid housing. So I go here and it's not going to tell me anything. That's because there's no back wall here. So it's just telling you, hey, it just doesn't count in any way. But if I fill in the back wall and that night came, that means the music changed. Or the music changed, that means night came, whatever way you want to look at it. And now we see that this probably counts as a house. Yes, but this housing is missing a light source, and a door. So all I need to do to solve this is place a couple torches, go to my crafting menu, craft a couple doors. I'll go ahead and break away 3 blocks. Grab the door out of my menu, left click to place it, do the same thing on the other side, kill the slime, These enemies here, these eyeballs and such, they're quite a bit stronger than the little slimes I've been messing with. So there we go. This now counts as a house. And if we click on the housing button, we can drag the guide's face here. And now this will be where the guide resides. The Jack the Guide. And if we walk away, it's dark, but we can. Maybe we shouldn't actually. Not without torches, which you can easily craft. You need, in order to craft torches, you need gel, which you can place in the ammo slot because it is an ammo. I won't tell you for what, but it is. And you can place it in the ammo slot, so keep that in mind. It saves a bit of inventory space. All you need is gel and wood. And you can press this little hammer and it brings up everything you can craft right now. So I want to craft some torches. I'll craft 15 of them, sure. And just for a little bit of safety's sake, I'll go ahead and craft myself... Ooh, I don't know. I have 51 cacti, so I'll go ahead and craft up a cacti breastplate. And that should do it, I suppose. I don't need more than that. I do have bars I can make, but I'm not going to bother with that for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my new sword, push these guys away a bit, and put some torches on these trees to light up the area around my starting house. For no other reason. The torches don't do anything to protect you. The way that you keep monsters from spawning in your area is by having houses built and NPCs living there, and then monsters won't spawn where in the area where the NPCs are. So that's something to keep in mind. You build yourself a little village, you can make yourself basically a safe area. So I wanted to go and walk away because at night, if you walk away, there it went. I saw it on my mini map up here. The guide has teleported to the house. They teleport there at night to their house that they live in. And I'm going to talk to him and click on this menu for crafting. And what it'll say here is you get this little box here. You have your normal crafting menu, which is always there. But then he has this box that says place a material here. So anything, if you're looking and you see, you can read underneath shuriken, 10 throwing damage, critical strike chance, blah, blah, blah. You want to look and see when it says material. Like this rope, it says can be placed, material. Can be climbed on. Wood can be placed, material. Snow block, material. Lead ore, material. Sand block, material. Chest is not a material. Copper short sword, not a material. You'll see what I'm getting at though. But if you want to see everything that can be made out of that item, you just drag and drop it into the guide's little box and he tells you. Rope coil. You need 10 rope, and you need required objects none. That means anytime I want, I can make rope coil, which is true. Ropes, by the way, are a very useful item. You'll find them in jars all over the place, and later you can buy them from an NPC. And, oh, I'm going to grab that star. Stars you need for mana, if you want to upgrade your mana cost, which is up here. You have your life and your mana, and your mini-map, which you can get rid of the mini-map at any time by pressing tab, which would bring up a bigger one, and then pressing it once more, which gets rid of it completely. And then anytime you want to check your map to see where you've gone, you just press M. This is the map that I've explored of the entire map so far. This is a large world, keep in mind. Small world, the distance we went would be probably half of the world already, no joke. That's the difference between them. So zombies are a little tougher than other enemies, but we've got a slightly better sword. We can mess around with them. You want to try to kill off a few zombies at night. They do drop a little bit of gear, a little bit of money, all things that you'll need in the future. It's always a full moon on your first night too. Just know that in advance. What else can I talk about with the first night? So we basically have done the first day's objectives. We survived. We picked up a few things out of chests that we found, which we can place one of the chests in here, behind this chair. And then I can easily just right-click on the chest and put whatever I want into it. So like this cactus, for instance, I'll put the star in my ammo, because it's also an ammo and a material. It disappears after sunrise. What that means is, if I can left click with my star all day, right? If you right click, you throw it on the ground. Or if you're here and you press E, or is it E or is it R? Q? It's one of these buttons. There's a button that throws it anyway, and I don't remember which one it is. But what I usually do is I drag I drag it off the inventory and I right click, and that can throw it on the ground. That's a good way to toss it to friends or whatever. If you just want to get something out of your inventory, you usually take it to the trash. So, but if you throw this on the ground during the day, it's going to disappear. Keep that in mind. And you need those in order to craft mana stars. And of various other things. You see with the Fallen Star, I can make mana crystal, a star cannon, sun plate block. I don't even know what that is. I've never even seen that before. If I had 25 stone, I would do it. What do I even need to do it? I need a sky mill in order to do that, which I don't have. A star in a bottle, you know? Jester's arrows, which is 20 arrows in a star. I can craft that right now because I do have 46 arrows, which I found in pots. Various potions, and enchanted nightcrawler, which is a type of bait used in fishing. So yeah, anytime you need to know anything, this guy is going to help you. I cannot stress enough how helpful the guide is. A lot of people don't really use him as much as they should. He also helps you fight monsters. If there were monsters here right now and that door was open, he'd be shooting at them. He's very useful, the most useful early game NPC in the game. Maybe the most useful in the game, period. If you don't want to look up any other videos after this video, you can use the guide and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Everything. Guarantee it. But if you want to keep looking, you should let me know if I should make another video. I hope I covered everything I needed. Like, I have my umbrella here, which is cool, but, you know, it's just an item. If you want to use an item, you put it here in your inventory, and usually you left click, but for the umbrella, it's just an item that you hold. It lets you not take fall damage, basically. You can jump off of cliffs and float down, Mary Poppins style. If you want to throw throwing knives, you put your cursor, same with shurikens as well, and any other throwing items or shooting items. Put your cursor where you want to throw it, and it'll go there. So it's pretty self-explanatory for the most part. I can go to the workbench and craft up a couple things, I suppose. A couple things that would be really helpful for you if you wanna have a ranged weapon early in the game. You can easily craft a wooden bow with 10 pieces of wood. And I've already found arrows, but you can craft those easily with wood and stone. And as you can see, you can craft 25. So if you right click and hold it down, you can craft all the way to the max. So I just made 125 wooden arrows, which you can use those arrows and torches together to make flaming arrows. So now I've got a decent amount of arrows, and I could even make Jester's arrows if I wanted, but I feel like that would be a waste. So yeah, that's the same thing as the throwing items. It's got a bit more range though. Shoot my flaming arrow into the sky. Shoot the zombie down in the hole. One more last thing. So ropes. Ropes are a very handy item. In order to use ropes, you have to place them on a block. So you can place it on a back wall like this back wall. Not every back wall, but these ones, anything close to the surface for the most part works. Or you can easily place it on the side of a block. And if you walk up to the rope, you can push up or down or left and right, depending on how you place the rope. And you can use it to maneuver and get to places that you wouldn't normally be able to. And with the rope coil, it's basically the same thing, only it's throwable. So if, for instance, let's say this ledge right here was too high, I couldn't jump up and hit it. I could easily just throw the rope there, and it instantly places 10 ropes for you to use. And now that ore that I saw earlier that I wasn't able to really easily get, I can just go, hey, now I've got it. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this is helpful for anybody that's new to Terraria. Terraria is a great game. I've heard of too many people though giving it up because they just didn't know what to do. If you want to see more videos, let me know. I will gladly put out more of these. Just these helpful tutorial videos. If there's something you want to know about, let me know specifically and I will do my best to explain it. I know basically everything there is to know in this game. And if I don't know it, I'll find out for you and then let you know. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good day. See you next time. Bye.